Hey, thanks for joining us for another episode of GC Community Chat. We hope that you are all home safe and doing well. I've really been looking forward to having our guests on the show. Tonight, we are very honored to have with us three of our many frontline heroes. Garden City Police Chief Tim Gibbons will be here. Also, Garden City Fire Chief Kathy Harman. And our good friend from GCPD, K9 and Community Resource Officer, Bruce Shippe will be here. They will be here shortly to let us know how they're doing and how the community is doing during these very trying times. They'll also be here to answer any of your questions or concerns you may have. So we hope that you'll be able to join us for the next hour or so. Also, Joe Bartley from J&J Taxes and More is back with some information for you as well. But first up, Dr. Tom will be here with the complete weather forecast and hopefully some warmer weather coming our way. He'll be here in just a few minutes. I'll also have another update for you from Garden City Mayor Randy Walker with the latest COVID numbers and more. So grab your favorite beverage. And like I said, join us for the next hour or so. Should be a good one. This is episode number 477. It is Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. I am your host, Kerry, and also joining me tonight, our favorite chat weatherman, Dr. Tom Mywinski. Tom, how you doing?
A little chilly, like you said. We gotta increase this thermostat a
bit. Yeah, we do. Hopefully you will. And we want to say hello to Mike. He's home once again, staying safe and sound. So give a shout out to Mike. We want to thank all the communities who tune in every Thursday night to listen and watch our show. We want you to know your support is greatly appreciated. And remember, if your community has any events or announcements that you'd like us to promote, please email the details to us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to announce those for you. Now, if you have any questions or comments for any of our guests tonight, and if you're watching us on Facebook, go ahead and type them in the comments section. And please remember, there might be a slight delay, or you can text your questions to 734-788-9319. All right, let's get Tom in here with the latest check of the weather, and then we'll spend some time chatting with our guests. So stand by. Okay, let's do a check on weather with Doppler Tom. Let's see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend coming up. Tom, take it away. Well, I hope you got some warmer weather for us coming there, bud.
Yeah, we're definitely looking for that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Especially after the last few days. It's just been a little windy at times, a little rainy at times, a little snowflake at times. I mean, it's definitely been on the chilly side.
A little bit of everything.
Here across the region over the last few days. And we're going to kind of continue in that chill as we get throughout the rest of the evening. Luckily, the rain is now winding down. It kind of was a little on the rainy side on and off today. And those temperatures are going to continue to drop. We'll probably be into the 30s as we get into the overnight lows, but they'll be above freezing. And Friday, that's kind of be our turnaround day, finally. We're going to kind of see those temperatures begin to warm up a little bit more. We're probably going to get into the upper 50s. And you're just saying upper 50s. Well,
I'll take it.
We've been in the 40s for the last couple of days, so we'll take what we can get, right?
Right.
It's definitely going to be much better than the last few crummy days. And unfortunately, as we get into the weekend, kind of this rainier pattern is going to move back in on Saturday, but we'll start drying out on Sunday. So kind of more on the rainier day is going to be on Saturday, a little bit drier on Sunday, and those temperatures are going to be in the mid-50s for both days. So not terrible. And there's just, we don't really too much rain, but could be worse.
Could be
white. Yeah, so we don't want that color precipitation. And as we get into next week, we're going to kind of be in a consistent pattern. I don't really see any big warm-ups. And I don't see any big cool down. So that's the great news. We're going to kind of keep our temperatures into the 50s and lower 60s as we get into next week. So not a big warm up that we're wanting, but definitely not going to cool down. I don't see any any big cool downs as we get throughout the rest of the month and into early May. I do see a consistent pattern remain with temperatures continuing to be into the mid 50s to lower 60s. And the other side of next week is kind of in the mid portion of next week. Monday will be dry, but then as we get into late Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is when another rainy pattern moves in. So the phrase April showers will definitely bring May flowers eventually. It's definitely going to be a kind of a rainy end of the month. And as we get into May, I do see kind of a continuing trend as we get into early May. So that's kind of the wrap up of our weather. Quickly talking about some other weather, it's definitely been a busy time across the weather world, especially across the southern central U.S. with a lot of tornadoes recently. And these tornadoes have been causing a lot of destruction and unfortunately some fatalities as well across the southern states out there.
Wow.
It's been a big problem.
Yeah.
It's been a very busy April for severe weather across the southern United States, and that's going to kind of continue as we get throughout the rest of the evening, but hopefully they'll start quieting down. It looks like they're going to start quieting down to end the month of April, so that's some great news. And other than that, that's pretty much the weather wrap-up across our region and into the U.S. But if you want to keep tuned to all my local weather information, just go to my website, dopplertownsweather.com, and it will keep you updated day by day.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Looking forward to that warmer weather. Okay,
Yeah, just to take a walk around the block, right?
Yeah, right. All right, just a quick reminder, our show streams live every Thursday evening at 8 p.m., so we hope you'll set aside some time to join us, and be sure to invite your friends to join in as well. Also, if you go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCChat, be sure to follow us, and you'll be reminded whenever our show is streaming live. And while you're there, go ahead and feel free to leave us a review. We would really appreciate it. Also, you can get more information and contact us as well by visiting our website at gccommunitychat.com. All right, let's introduce our special guests for tonight. They are three of the many frontline heroes that go out to serve and protect us all the time. Please welcome, and I'm going to bring them in here, Garden City Police Chief Tim Gibbons. Tim, how you doing?
How you doing, Gary?
Awesome. Also, Garden City Fire Chief Kathy Harman. How you doing, Kathy?
I'm very good, Gary. How are you?
Great. And last but not least, Sergeant Bruce Shippe, our canine officer. How you doing, Bruce?
Great. How are you, Carrie?
Great. You guys are looking wonderful tonight. And you sound good.
Getting used to this video conference and stuff.
Yeah. I think
right?
way of the future now, eh?
That's it.
So I got to tell you, it's an honor to have all of you gathered here tonight, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So let's get right to it. I don't want to keep you long. I know you guys are busy. First off, you and your families are all healthy and well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, doing good. Just learning how to be a better chef and a teacher. These guys said homeschooling and a lot more cooking. And
Right, homeschooling.
Not all burgers and fries. They want something else sometimes. So
Yeah. Bruce, what about you? How's it going?
Doing well, just adapting like everybody else.
Yeah. So, Kathy, I wanted to ask you, how does the COVID pandemic compare to other illnesses and disasters that you've experienced throughout your career?
This is the furthest I've ever seen a disaster plan for a pandemic advance this far with, the refrigerated trucks, the makeshift morgues, what the hospitals are having to do with their isolation areas, the volume of people sick, the amount of change and the information that keeps coming in. I've trained for many years. I sat on the HEMS committee, and a lot of that involved disaster planning for all kinds of threats, whether it was chemical, biological, nuclear, radioactive, if it was a terrorist or a natural disaster. And, those often included having to make those types of decisions that we don't normally make in the field, and the theme was, you want to do the greatest good for the greater number. This is a lot different than any of the other flu seasons. I believe when SARS H1N1 came out, we had pre-screening via dispatch, but
Right.
It's changed the way we respond. It changed the way we look when we respond. So we did a little video show just to kind of give people a little preemptive strike or an idea of how the various ways we may show up.
Mhm. So, Chief Gibbons, I'll ask you the same question. How's it stack up to what you've been through in your career?
Yes, certainly the most unique experience on directing a police agency of my career. When our job is encouraging our officers to go out and have citizen contact, and encouraging them to be personable and get information from people by having first person contact. So now we have to structure it so we limit it as much as we can person to person, but also do it safely when we have to.
Sure.
So there's you just took a lot of guidance from the CDC on how to handle things. They actually put out a sheet said how to respond from a law enforcement perspective right off the bat. So we took that advice. Mm-hmm. We structured our shifts. We limited some time off to isolate guys just in groups. Mm-hmm. So they don't have to, commingle. So if one of our officers unfortunately gets infected, he doesn't spread it to the entire department. So we have to think about operability. But also at the same time, we're a core essential service. We have to keep doing what we do day in and day out. There's no excuses. So we're still doing everything we're doing. I think we're delivering just another excellent level of service as we always have, just doing it a lot differently and with a whole new threat out there that we have never had to anticipate. But, what I can say is the officers have responded with nothing but dedication. You could tell that they're just, they're dedicated to their jobs and their citizens and their families. And it's been impressive to see. Yeah.
Well, that's good. You guys do a great job. That's for sure. Bruce, I'm going to ask you, how is the community handling the pandemic and the restrictions, and how are you enforcing them?
I think the community overall is handling it very well. Again, everybody's adapting to this. This is something different, something nobody planned or really probably even thought of. Right. So I think everybody's paying real close attention to a lot of the guidelines. We really have it good here. Everybody's just following things. I think they care about each other enough. And of course, us, that they're following everything that they're being taught as we're learning more and more about this. So the community is responding rather well to it.
Really well. Good. That's good. That's good. What about the traffic officers? They work for you on the roads. What are some of the strange things that are unusual things they're seeing? Anything?
Well, if you look, you see, obviously, if you have to go out, you see the traffic volume is a lot less, which kind of gives people a little bit more of a freedom, I guess, so to speak. So we see less speeding cars, but when we do get them, we seem to see the speed greatly increased from what it normally is. So, one of the things our traffic guys, they are still out there enforcing all of the traffic laws and things like that. We've got to keep the speeds down. Some pretty bad people running red lights timing wise, where the length of it is a lot longer than it normally would be. That can lead to accidents. So they're out there still doing it. Their call volume for work is down, but the level of it is, more intense when they are dealing with it. So I'm really grateful for them.
Right. Okay. Chief Harman, how have you protected your guys in your department against contracting this disease?
Several ways. Fortunately, we got on the personal protective needs right away. We are always prepared because of the nature of the job we do with having to deal with bloodborne or airborne illnesses and the various fire incidents that we have to address. But, not only does few of the guys work in the emergency rooms, their spouses do. And as the information was coming in about Wuhan, China, and then the guys that worked in ERs with their spouses started to see a spike in patients, we started putting together isolation kits and trying to track down the things that we would need at that time. And then as the information came out, it kept changing, and we were having difficulty finding a lot of that because there was like this mass run on a lot of the personal protective equipment. So that, following the CDC's guidelines for the response, we also implemented a mandatory temperature check questionnaire when you come on duty. That's repeated halfway through the shift and at the conclusion of their shift. In addition, the guys are cleaning and disinfecting 3 times a day. We have been able to get a machine that we run in the rooms that we're not utilizing, oftentimes the trucks, that's supposed to kill everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we're also keeping a list of the exposures because they're not reporting where they are, but we know the patients we go on, or if they have symptoms that are consistent with the COVID-19 virus. We want to keep track for each individual member. It is presumptive if the first responders, public safety contract COVID, that it was likely due to something we did on the job or picked up on the job. So, we're using alternate footwear. If they're not covering their duty boots with booties, the guys take off their boots when they get to the station, disinfect them with a spray, and then put on the different footwear to walk through the station. So we're trying not to contaminate our department.
Right. So it's the procedure is quite more than you're used to. Let's put it that way.
Oh yes, we had to have that fashion show because there's different types of equipment we get at different times, and I have some of it here. This is one of my own. This is probably, you'll see the Shippe the commander's wearing them. This is brand new. I bought this for myself. I haven't had to use it, but the captains may come in wearing that on a type of incident that's going to require protection, because we're trying to limit the use on these, which is a N95 mask, because they were more difficult to find.
Right.
Full face shields, and they're double, triple gloving, or they may wear their EMS coat with a yellow gown or the big plastic gowns, and whatever was available that we were able to get through either Region 2 South, through the Wayne County Department of Homeland Security, or the National Strategic Stockpiles.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Chief Gibbons, are your guys being tested? And I'll ask you the same, Kathy, but go ahead, Chief Gibbons.
Testing is really starting to ramp up, and where before to get it you'd require symptoms. Now they're just testing first responders, essential workers. Mm-hmm. So we've gotten just a little under half tested over the last 24 hours, all negative. We're working to get the rest of the other half tested in the next day or two. It's really just been this week where testing seems to be ramped up, which is it's a positive. You can tell we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Just drive up, the officers get tested within minutes, they know. And it's just another thing. We're still going to have to wear our protective equipment, and we're going to have to be very disciplined about it, to assume everyone has it and we have it when we go out. But it's nice having that peace of mind that at least today, if the officers that went today, hey, they don't have it right now, and we can keep moving forward. It's a nice peace of mind.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on relaxing April 30th? You see it being extended probably further?
I could see it being extended. I could also see some of the more stringent restrictions being loosened, but we're not out of the woods by any means, it doesn't appear. And we've done such good work. We've sacrificed so much. I'd hate for us to fumble at the 1 yard line, as we're starting to get there. And maybe 1 yard line is a little too optimistic, but we're definitely heading in the right direction. I'd hate for us to goof up early just because we lost patience right at the end.
Yeah.
We're doing good. The numbers are starting to head in the right direction. The only thing I think we're fighting too is, once you've been in it a little while, you start to get a little complacent and you might feel a little more comfortable. We need to, I think, just keep it a little longer. Hopefully some of the more stringent things get relaxed that we can, because the situation's gotten better. But what I can say is this, and I just want to reiterate what Bruce is saying. Garden City citizens are just, it's just a good community to work for. They're lockstep with what needs to be done to do the right thing and protect each other. And it's just a good community to work for, because, and this is the amount of support we get, the amount of sandwiches that get dropped off, and along with some protective equipment. I got a UAW hand sanitizer sitting on my desk, donated. The officers are wearing the equipment. So
that's awesome.
We've been well taken care of. I can say that.
Well, that's great. That's great. You guys deserve it for sure. All of you. Sergeant Shippe, the summer, usually you guys are busy, you and Rudy, with all the events. This summer might be a little different, huh? You think?
Yeah, I could foresee that. Like the chief said, we're getting close to the end here. That'll be determined by the governor and other people, right, based on the information they get. But we also know it won't be just an opening up the gates and a free-for-all for everybody to go out and enjoy it, and that'll include us. There'll be some type of, slowly reintroducing the things that we took as normal back. And that would include our programs too, because we certainly wouldn't want to go out there and cause some kind of big gatherings. And unfortunately, that's a big problem we have. We usually get pretty good gatherings at our events. So we definitely wouldn't want to host something that might contribute it to setting, the community back by spreading something. So we'll take the lead from what everybody kind of tells us and feel it out. But we're working on other programs too, so that we can still remain active regardless of where we're at.
Okay, awesome. Well, Rudy had a birthday, the other day?
Yes, his 8th birthday.
8th birthday, my gosh. Wow, that's hard to believe. So how's Rudy handling this pandemic? Are you doing anything different with him? I mean, as far as, I don't know, I guess it's the jury's still out if animals can contract this or be carriers, right?
Yeah, you hear it we heard it one way, and then again, this is all new. So, you take everything as it comes out, and I kind of learn to wait a little bit because it may change just because we get more information. And now you're hearing that some species of animals can get it. So really not too sure. Things kind of have changed for him because the workload's changed a little bit for us. And then of course, not getting out in the community, the lack of, interaction, and even with the officers, keeping social distancing, it includes him too. So he's had to learn some different roles. Like he's just not going to wander around the station and go visit everybody like he normally does. And
right.
as I keep him back in the office, he's kind of looking at me and like, wait a minute.
He's the people
a few weeks ago. So I can see the confusion in him some days. So I can totally understand it with the public.
Right. Who wants to answer the question that I have up there? Are there less break-ins due to someone always being home? How is crime now?
You know what? It's down. We're having a lot less runs, and we always monitor burglaries, especially from autos and motor vehicle thefts.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just seen no increases. If anything, it's gone down. Our guys are still doing a good job. Like I said, it's tough to tell officers to go out and limit their contact with people, but still be effective. So what we've done is increased our presence on the streets, on the side streets, just so people know we're still there. So we're heading in the right direction. I don't see any uptick in crime from this going on.
That's
if anything, it's gone down a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. It's kind of tough to recognize anyone if they rob a store with a mask on, though, right?
We're used to when we had masks on the ones you stop, because they stay out. And now really we're looking at the ones who aren't, because so and when we're wearing them ourselves, which is a whole new thing for us.
Yeah, it's really changed. The times are different, that's for sure. Chief Harman, I wanted to ask you. Let me see. I know I had a question here for you. Oh, I know, the trailer behind the station. How did that come about?
We had exposure early on in a doctor's office. He was providing a treatment that we were told not to do because it just puts more of the virus into the air. So it was one of our younger members, and he had to go into quarantine. So I had been trying to set up an alternate site, and he was able to go to his house. But then 2 other people, it was like all of a sudden it was like, bam, COVID symptom type runs, one right after the other. The guys were taking the necessary precautions, but a couple of them live in a family situation where they couldn't separate, or they had a family member that had a compromised immune system or were recovering from cancer. So they were staying at this other site. It wasn't quite ideal, and they were trying to find alternate means like a hotel or a short-term rental. The one guy was even trying to buy a house, and at that time there wasn't a lot going on. Now that's since changed. So he looked into an RV rental, and then someone turned him on to a Facebook page that was established by people that own RVs, and they were lending them out to healthcare professionals that didn't want to stay for fear of contaminating or bringing this virus to their home. We were talking about maybe our camper, but it's a pop-up, it's canvas. It would have been miserable sleeping behind this alley. This is a nice hard-bodied structure. It was donated free of charge, just with us to ensure that we return it clean and in the same condition we received it.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, currently, there's one guy in there.
Okay, I got you. I have a question from Tina Wing. She wants to know, anybody can answer this. Do you need any more face masks?
I think we're doing okay right now. We do a regular inventory and to see how much we have, how many we're burning through and stuff like that. And in fact, Sergeant Shippe and I were just talking about a half an hour ago about our supply and whether we needed to request more or not. We feel pretty good where we're at right now.
Okay.
Fire's good. We do have the ability to order still through the Wayne County Department of Homeland Security, in addition to some that were released through the National Strategic Stockpile. Early on, I had a guy that I went to elementary and junior high school with. He dropped off a box that he found. But I can tell you that the facilities that are still struggling that could use them, if somebody would like to donate, are the nursing homes, the long-term care facilities, rehab facilities, and even some of the hospitals. They are getting those items now, but they don't have enough. Wearing the same mask when you're treating COVID patients for the entire shift, because if you don't don and doff properly, it's that fast. Or potentially that. I'm not a scientist, but we're taking those type of precautions. How we take them off and how we dispose of our equipment.
Okay. Chief Gibbons, how are you guys decontaminating, so to speak? I mean, probably not as close a contact as the firefighters, right?
Yeah, the nature of our job is a little bit less, contact intimately with people. We can maintain a better distance. Just when we're taking a report, we can take it from outside of the house. We can keep 6 feet between us, unlike the firemen who actually have to lift people and do things like that. So, but nonetheless, our officers are equipped with, disinfectant wipes, hand sanitizer. They've all got face masks, gloves, eye protection, face shields. And they don them based on the status of the person they're dealing with. They kind of assume everybody may have it, so they put a certain level of protection on. But if they know someone does, and our dispatchers are actually screening for it, so if you call and we're sending a car out, they're going to ask you if you have symptoms or you've been in contact, so officers know to increase that level. And then when they leave the scene, we've got a UV cabinet donated by the
nice.
By the public schools. Graciously, that was fantastic. Their science lab put it on loan to us so we can clean some of our equipment and our masks with the UV lights.
Awesome.
We've got bleach water and wipes. We've got Clorox wipes. And the officers are doing a good job of keeping their gear clean, keeping themselves disinfected when they leave a run.
Awesome. Yeah, that UV is really something else.
Just awesome. It's one of those technologies that had this not occurred, I wouldn't have even thought that it even existed. And now I've spent a whole lot of time Googling all the things that clean stuff, and it's amazing what's out there actually.
Yeah, I'm thinking of actually getting one, to put my cell phone and stuff like that in. They're small.
Yeah, with the cell phone, they say that's because it touches your hands and your hands touch everything. So
yeah, exactly. Chief Harman, can you tell us briefly your decontamination, how you guys go about that?
Well, the trucks and the station get decontaminated daily. Usually start the morning shift and mid shift and later or later on during the shift. But trucks, we've always had a decontamination process, but this virus has presented some different challenges. Mm-hmm. So early on, there was such a mass rush on a lot of what we normally use, and we don't stockpile a lot of those supplies. It's usually you get down to you have one in service, you're down in stock. Started going through, so I was unable to get a lot of what we wanted to because it was on back order. So a couple of guys got creative. I got to give credit to them because they did do a lot of footwork, they and their spouses, to go out and find equipment. But one of the things we did was we had purchased 2 of those garden sprayers, and we put a bleach solution in. And these guys they're in full personal protective equipment, and they're taking the stretcher out, disassembling it, spraying it down, and doing a thorough cleaning top to bottom. It is a process. It takes time, but it's necessary, as it has been in previous years for other things like, I'm so old. I was on the department before we established hazmat teams, and then the AIDS epidemic followed. And I remember all the changes over the years that we've had to make. So that's one of the things we're doing, and using an ozone machine on our trucks on a regular basis, and we're about washed the life out of our jackets that we wear. They're bloodborne pathogen, DOT compliant. So, we're trying to just use them in an ozone machine when we do the trucks and minimize the wear and tear from the washer machine.
Wow. And I got another question, one more question. I understand that you're running a second rescue. That's helped quite a bit.
Yeah, we asked for, and we did get permission, just staffing, so I could keep a second rescue in service. I didn't have to cancel a lot of leave time. Most of the guys just gave it up to come into work and help with, help getting us through this. So the second rescue, because Beaumont Wayne, when they initially shut the emergency room and they were going to be a COVID, and then that's changed, and we're hearing they're not going to open. Well, even during that time, we were having to drive further distances and then have to go through this whole decontamination process and to get back in service. So it's added an additional resource to the city. It's taken a lot of the extra load off of the guys for trying to hurry up when you drive lights and sirens, from a further distance to try to get back into the city. Even though traffic is down, it's still a risk we shouldn't take. We damaged one of our trucks last night. We hit was a pothole. It was disguised as a pothole, but it was a moon crater, and it busted the sensor on the back of the air spring, and the truck was like this. But we found a place with an emergency vehicle mechanic, and he replaced the sensor, and it was back in service early on. That could have been a disaster.
Yeah. Fix the damn road, huh?
Yeah. Or get a moon buggy. I don't
know. Hey, I know all you guys are you have concerns about bringing it home to your families, but what do you do? I mean, when you get home, how do you handle that? I mean, it's got to be really stressful. Who wants to answer?
I get assaulted at the front door with a Lysol can and told to get. This whole process. So, and I have minimal contact. I'm around the guys, but it's not like I'm having really close contact. But yeah, it's a Lysol can, a spray of salt, take your clothes off, and then come talk to me.
Right.
Yeah. My wife's a nurse, and she's given me strict protocols on how to enter and leave the house because she has to abide by them herself. So,
Wow. Well, thank her for her service too for us.
I'll pass it along.
Appreciate that. Bruce, what about you? How are you handling it?
Pretty good. We back here in the office kind of got a little protocol we go through, and we wipe down everything. It literally takes us about 35 minutes to clean up, and we're cleaning up the computers we're using, our boots, the handles of your gun, your holster, all that stuff. And then you're cleaning up the area you're trying to go change into, and then change. And then of course, re-clean that area that you just stepped on. And then the guys go home and they got another usually protocol. We're literally we call it backing out, and then we clean the doorknobs on the way out, all the way out to our last doors, throw the rags in the trash and go home and start it all over again when you get home.
Just don't back yourself into a corner, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we determined that crime is kind of down a little bit, but what about runs, Chief? Harman, are the runs down? Or are you seeing more, or how is that working out?
The runs, we're still past, we're not quite towards the end of the month. They are under, but we're also seeing a decline in transports here. We're having a lot more sign-offs as a result. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of our elders that have been falling in the home. And even though we pick them up and we check them out, they're still reluctant to go anywhere because they're afraid they'll never see their family again.
Right.
If they get admitted or they contract something. So we're what we normally do. And
yeah, you broke up a little bit there.
Yeah, as far as police runs go, our runs are up. They're just a different nature of runs.
Okay.
While crime's down, there's a lot of suspicious activity and violations of stay-at-home order, and also we're just doing more business checks, calling out more things we see just to get that presence out there. So it's generating more runs in that sense, but they're a much different nature than before this started.
I'm curious about what about the protocol for 911 calls? Has that changed at all? They ask them like more questions now.
That's it. There's the specific COVID screening questions they ask when before they send an officer out. So they're going to ask, have you shown any of the symptoms? Have you had any contact with someone? Have you traveled internationally? Those type of things are going to be all questions you're going to get asked if you call 911. It's going to be part of what they are going to ask you. So the officers just know, what am I going to wear when I get there? Do I need to step it up a level?
Sure.
Do I need a mask on? Do I need what else do I need to do? The face shield. The masks are always on. That's actually now our protocol. Even in or out of the station, our officers are wearing masks.
Yep. Awesome. Chief Harman, what about if someone has the symptoms? What are the procedures for them? Where should they go? What do they do? Where should they go first?
When they call 911?
Yeah, when they call 911, I mean, what do they do? Should they go to the hospital right away, or, what should they do?
If we get the response and they answer yes to any of the questions, the guys will show up fully suited. We try to get them, if they're able to come out on the porch, do the initial assessment, and then, when they're really safe, there's no question. When they're on the fence and they are negative for any of the other symptoms, then we'll offer it. But most of them are afraid they're going to contract COVID in the emergency room if they are asymptomatic and they actually have tested positive. So, but they can't test everybody. People that have been gone and said, well, they've been told they're not sick enough and they haven't tested them. And this may be changing with this rapid testing that we all went through recently. So if it's available, it's huge out there in Dearborn, at least that one. And when I was down in Southgate picking up some supplies today for the funeral home, and they must have had one at Sam's Club because it was the same layout. So it looked like an old Army drill, from the olden days.
Okay. Sergeant Shippe, is the police station open to the public still or no?
Well, I'm sorry, Gary, you broke up there.
Is the police station still open to the public?
Yeah, the front lobby is still open. Of course, if anybody's having any signs or symptoms, we would obviously ask that you not visit it, that you make a phone call, maybe from your home or in your car. But it's business as usual, other than practicing, good social skills, the new sets of distancing and, covering your mouth and things like that. The front lobby's open. You're more than welcome to come in if you need to make a report. And we're handling it as we've always have.
Okay. And Chief Harman, fire station open?
No, it's closed to the public. A lot of people that want to drop things off or pick things up when we can, we just do it on the picnic table. And if they need reports, actually no one's really, besides lawyers, but they're going to wait. We could get them to them in another way, whether it be by fax or email. But we can't have visitors at this time. The way the department is structured, we can't even really self-isolate from each other. You could do it all day, and then they go to bed.
Tough. Right. Oh, boy, you froze up. Good there. All right, I'm going to ask you guys, and I'll start with Chief Gibbons. If there's one thing the public or residents can do to help the officers and first responders, what would that be?
It's do your best to stay home and stay safe. There's been a lot of consternation over the orders and, how do we follow what? And, if you just use a simple principle that only leave the house to do the things you have to do, isolate yourself from others unless they're in your immediate family as best you can. And the better job we do of it, and everyone has some control over this, the better job you do of staying away from people you don't have to have contact with, the sooner we'll get through this.
Right.
So the key, and then, I know this type of situation, you could feel a little out of control, right? Like you lose a little control of everything because you see all this craziness happening out in the world. You see the numbers of infected and deaths. And, sometimes people what can I do to help? And the best thing you can do to help is just stay home and stay safe. Avoid as you can. If you got to go to the grocery store, you got to eat. Everybody understands that. But if you do go, wear a mask and try and have a list and make one trip.
Right.
That's the thing you can do to help your police, your fire, and most importantly, helping your nurses and doctors. We get a lot of credit for being on the front lines of this thing, front lines of a lot of things. let me tell you, it's the hospital doctors and the nurses that take the most credit. They're the bravest people in the room these days.
Yeah, they're all doing a great job. That's for sure. Bruce, I'll ask you the same thing. What's the one thing that you'd like to see the public, the residents, that they can do to help you guys?
I think it would be to help all of us is just continue to work together. You know, I always say it, you hear it all the time, you know, together we're stronger and we can work past this. And I think if we just continue to work together, listen to some of the information. I know sometimes it gets confusing because it changes daily, but we're learning more about it daily. So sometimes yesterday, what we thought was the best might be different today as we learn more about it. So don't panic. Just if you have questions, call us, call the fire department. We'll try to help you, you know, decipher through these, whether it's the orders from the governor or whether it's some of the new COVID information that we have. But just continue to work together. You know, that's why we're in it, right? We not only want to keep each other safe, but we want to keep our family and our friends and all of our first responders. So there's no I in this one, right? It's all teamwork. So
yeah, exactly. Chief Harman, same question.
I had lost it for a little while, so I'm not sure what the question was.
I'm just asking, you know, what's the one thing that you'd like to see the residents do to help the first responders and officers?
They've been doing a great job, actually, following instructions, recommendations. The mayor, city manager, council have been really good at pushing the information out, as has Bruce, Sergeant Shippe through the community pages. We're trying to put information out. We're getting calls with questions. People are asking us what they can do to help, and we're like, take care of yourselves and stay home and, you know, practice the guidelines that are put out. We appreciate all the sandwiches, pizzas, and the hand sanitizers that we got from the place. They set the refill out there. It looked like somebody left us a half gallon of vodka, and I said, no, that stays out there, but it was hand sanitizer. Nobody tried to drink it.
Okay. There is alcohol in it, though. Oh, that's great. That's great. Let's see. I think I had a question here. Eileen Hubbard wants to know, what about power wash in a customer's house that a contract has been signed months ago with no contract with the homeowner, or with no contact with the homeowner? I mean, I don't know if you guys can answer that, but
that one's a little specific and probably needs a few more details. But generally, power wash in the house, you know, doesn't probably qualify as an essential life activity.
Right.
So I'd imagine during the government that wouldn't fly. But, you know, I guess it could go to a larger point. How we've been in, you know, first of all, as far as the governor's order is concerned, the Attorney General's office has communicated to us that we have a lot of, that they're leaning on the locals to interpret it the way they feel best and enforce it as they feel best, which is good, because every community has their own challenges. So what we've done in our approach is, and mostly through Bruce's office, is the CRO officers he's in charge of, and the office he's a part of. I like a certain group of people enforcing it so it gets done consistently. What we've taken is we just take it case by case. You know, it's like speeding. Typically, if you're driving 5 over, you know, the officer's not going to pull you over. Now, if it's snowing or sleeting or ice on the road, now it becomes more serious. So everything's fact dependent. But if you're doing 20 over, well, we're going to have a problem. So if you're having a party at your house of 20 people, well, we're going to have a problem. But if you're doing some activity that's somewhat necessary and it still sticks basically with the principles of the order, which is socially distant and only do things necessary, then we're going to be just educational. We're going to let you know what you're doing wrong, and if you are doing something wrong. So, you know, it's all very case by case. So to her question, it depends on a lot of things, you know.
Right.
So you know, we couldn't give a specific answer, but if that give you an idea of our approach to get you to an answer.
Yeah, so you have a little leeway there. So,
you know, always we have the ability to direct our resources as we feel they need to appropriately. You know,
right.
All law enforcement officers have a certain amount of discretion, and all agencies do, to basically address what they think is necessary to meet the goals of the law, and that's what we're doing. We're first of all, we understand 100% this is a tough time, and even, you know, give the the governor some credit. There's no playbook for this.
No,
there's no easy instructions, and there's so many hard decisions she has to make, and so many the doctors have to make. That what's important is we try our best to stay with the general principles of the rules, and then we as a law enforcement agency approach it from a understanding perspective, and so everybody works together. Like Bruce is saying, it's a great community because everybody's working together, and everybody keeps doing that, and have an understanding that the police are just working their way through these rules. And as the governor is, and as the people who are trying to follow him, we all have to understand this is unprecedented stuff. And, but I'm confident that we'll enforce these things appropriately and meet the right means. And I'm confident that people will abide by them, especially after you explain to them.
Right. Bruce, I just got one thing here, a question. Pastor Jonathan Combs from Garden City Methodist Church would like to know what can the churches do to help the police department. Lunches, dinners, etc.
Say a few prayers for us first off, and I'm sure they're already doing that.
Oh yeah.
And include all of the first responders in this. We're learning that we were always called first responders, us in the fire department, and then the military along with it. But now we're finding out that there's a lot more. Right? We got healthcare, and we got other essential people that it takes to make this go around. So kind of keep us all in your thoughts and prayers. But definitely call up. You can get a hold of me or the desk sergeant or anybody. We get. I can't tell you the food we get. Boy. We're probably going to have to replace that treadmill and the rowing machine. I don't think the chief knows yet downstairs, but we're trying to keep up with it and work it off. So we appreciate it. We always welcome it, but just so we don't get an overload of it, get a hold of myself or the desk sergeant, and we can work together on figuring out a date if that's something you'd like to do. We'd love it. Those home cooked meals are great.
Awesome. You're right. I think we've all packed on a few pounds since it started. We're eating better. We're all eating at home now, and it tastes a lot better, don't it?
We got a lot of great cooks out here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, look, I want to mention a few people that were in there watching. Julie Begin, Cheryl Parton, Joe Bartley, Donna Canzorini, Cheryl Presley. We got tons of people in there. Kathy Ward. Hi, Kathy. Brian Earl, Councilman Brian Earl's in there. He wants to have the temperature above 60, he says. Sarah Young-Rafi from the school board. Sandy Abram. Brian Earl says, you guys are superstars. He appreciates you. Kelly Cohen, Mayor Pro Tem. Randy Walker, the mayor, is in there. Eileen Hubbard, Mike Collard, Steve Yoder. Lieutenant Steve Ray is in there from the fire department. Hi, Steve. Thanks for joining us. So a lot of well wishes for you guys. You do a great job. Great job. And I want to thank you guys for coming on. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover while I have you?
I just say thanks for having us, Kerry. And, like Bruce said, if you have questions about what's going on with orders or anything in general to the health and safety of Garden City, call the police department. I'm more than willing to answer your questions as best we can. Everybody sticks together. These are interesting times, but I'm quite confident we'll get through them okay.
Well, I can't thank you guys enough for all you do, and thank you so much for coming on tonight. And come back anytime to give us an update, okay?
Thank you.
All right. You guys.
Thank you for having me.
Stay safe, okay? Really.
All right.
Will do.
Right, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Wow. Our first responders, great people, that's for sure. We'll never be able to thank them enough for all they do. Okay, just a quick reminder, on next week's show, our guest will be Garden City Public School Superintendent Derek Fisher. He'll be back to talk with us about the school bond proposal that's coming up on May the 5th. And I also have something from Mayor Walker that I'll be mentioning about that. So we hope that you'll tune in for that. And also the owner of Chubb's Smokehouse Catering. It's a new catering business in Garden City. Mr. Richard Werbelski will be here. So we want to have you mark your calendars for that, and please join us. Okay, we're going to get Joe Bartley in here for some quick tax tips for you. I believe he still has some information on the stimulus checks. So let's get Joe in here.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Tax Talk with Joe Bartley from J&J Taxes and More. So today we're going to touch on, again, the stimulus checks because that is the hot topic going around. Now, just a few reminders with regards to those checks. The IRS will not call you. They will not ask for information. You want to pass that on, especially to your older friends and family and your younger ones as well that may be taken by a scam. Now, there's still millions and millions of payments that have yet to be sent out. So everyone that hasn't gotten theirs yet, just be patient. It'll get there. Everyone that doesn't go over the income limits and not a dependent will get a payment. So just hang tight. It'll get there to you. Now, Social Security recipients don't have to do anything. The IRS already has your information. They're going to get it from Social Security. So they will be sending you your payment. They don't have to do anything. The IRS is going to use your 2019 tax return if filed. If not, if you haven't filed your 2019 yet, they're going to use your 2018. Now, you can check the status of your payment by going to the website, and it's www.irs.gov/coronavirus/economic-impact-payments. Now, and you can check the status there. That site is updated only once a day. So once you check it, there's no need to keep going back in because it's only updated once daily. Now, so to sum it all up, if you haven't received your payment, just be patient. It'll get to you. Now, J&J Taxes and More is available to prepare your taxes. We can do that without doing face-to-face. We can get your documents through our portal, through email, or through our Dropbox at the office. And the office is the building is open from 10 to 4. So, and my address is 29217 Ford Road, and Suite 104, and that's Garden City. The email address is joe@jandjtaxesandmore.com. Please like our Facebook page where you'll get updates and information, the latest and greatest. And also be on the lookout. There is the lawmakers are looking at some additional stimulus, so keep your eye out for that. So we're available to help you if we can. Phone number 734-523-8291. Thank you, and thanks to the first responders and hospital workers out there. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Great information once again. I'm going to put that website up again. If you haven't got your payments yet, you can go to that payment. It's on your screen right now, that website, and see where your payment is. I think you can track it on there if I'm not mistaken. So definitely check that out. But like you said, you just have to be patient. All right. I have the mayor's update for you tonight. And once again, canceled through 4/30/2020. Skateboard parks closed, ice rink, playgrounds are closed. City Hall is closed, open by phone Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5. Police and fire, normal emergency operations, and DPW, normal outside work. Also, the fire hydrant painting was canceled. All parks and rec indoor and outdoor activities are canceled. Canceled for the month of May. So far, we just have the Memorial Day ceremony at City Hall will be canceled, unfortunately, because of the virus. Road construction has started throughout the city. Please drive slow to keep the road construction workers safe. Also, the mayor wants you to know that you should all have your ballot applications for the May 5th voting. If not, you can call the city clerk's office and do it right away. And if you do have your apps, the best way to do it is to drop it off in the purple box on the north side of the building at City Hall. That would be the best and the fastest rather than mail it in. Just drop it off if you can. We're only like a week and a half out. So, okay, the COVID-19 numbers for Garden City through today, we have 96 residents that have tested positive, and unfortunately, we have 8 deaths now due to the COVID-19. The state of Michigan numbers are 35,291 that have tested positive and 2,977 deaths of Michigan residents. He wishes you to stay home, stay safe, and wash your hands. The COVID-19 numbers appear to be slowing down daily. We still need to take this very serious. Stay home, stay safe, and we will get through this. Thanks, Randy Walker. So appreciate that from the mayor. Also, I want to give a shout out. You know, our local businesses are really, really struggling right now. And whenever you can support them, please do. We want to give a shout out to some of the Garden City restaurants that are open for carry out and curb service. Times may vary, so look them up on Facebook. Their menus and their times are on there. We want to mention the Sunrise Coney Island. That's the newest one that opened at Cherry Hill and Vinoy. They are open for curbside and carry out. New Peking restaurant, Bedrock, B-Rock restaurant, sports venue, they're open for curbside. Rogala's, SoCal, and also Eddie's Family Dining just reopened, and they are open for carry-outs and curbside. Also, Golden Feather Restaurant, don't forget about them. They are open with limited hours. Most of them have their hours posted on Facebook and their menus as well. So please support these local small businesses. They really need your support when you can. Let's see. Let's move on here. Oh, I want to mention Angels Above Baby Gowns. Dawn Corey, who is the founder of Angels Above Baby Gowns, and her volunteers have provided and made well over 2,000 plus face masks, along with surgical caps, face shields, headbands, mask extensions to so many locations that we just can't list them here right now. They are taking requests for masks. You can call them at 734-722-7628 between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. So if you're interested in getting a mask, contact her. If you'd like to make a monetary donation of any amount to help them continue to provide these items to our community and the hospitals that serve our community, you can send a check to Angels Above Baby Gowns. That's at 251 Hubbard Street in Garden City, Michigan, 48135. You can also message them on Facebook and see what they might need. Last I heard, they were in need of elastic, and volunteers are always appreciated to help sew or cut out patterns. And we want to thank Angels Above Baby Gowns for all you do. Keep up the great work. Remember, if you're interested in coming on the show as a guest, we would love to have you. Maybe you know someone who might be interested. If so, it's very easy. You can contact us through our website at gccommunitychat.com. Just send us your name, email, and address, and a brief message, and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. During this time, you can do the show remotely and safely, just like we did tonight. Maybe you own a business or belong to an organization. You'd like to share your information with us and the surrounding communities. If so, contact us today. We look forward to hearing from you. All right. Let me see if we got any comments in here. Sports venue brought 30 Easter dinners to the residents at the Garden Towers. Oh, yeah, Lori and them do a fantastic job, Sandy, over there. Can't say enough about sports venue. Also, Garden City Domino's. Yes, that's another restaurant that you can support. Get you a Domino's pizza. Jennifer Seal says it was delicious. Sarah Young says, so grateful for the restaurants that are open. Her kids are sick of her cooking. Come on, I don't believe that, Sarah. Lieutenant Steve Ray from the fire department says Sports Venue brought some awesome bacon burgers to the fire department today. Wow, awesome. Shout out to Sports Venue. They do a great job. Great job. All right. Remember, we're staying separated today so we can be together tomorrow. That's a great saying. I love it. The bottom line is to continue staying home, especially if you're sick. Continue the physical distancing. I like that much better than social distancing. I feel people should still maintain that social contact, whether it's online, FaceTime, texting, or sending a card through the mail. You need that social contact. Continue to wash your hands. Very important. Don't panic shop. Check on your neighbors and your seniors, especially. Remember, we're all in this together, and we will all get through this together. And with that said, I think I am ready to call this a podcast. Special thanks to our guests, Garden City Police Chief Tim Gibbons, Garden City Fire Chief Kathy Harman, and Garden City Canine Officer Sergeant Bruce Shippe. You guys are awesome, and can't say enough. We thank you for all you do to keep us safe. Also, thank you to Mr. Joe Bartley from J&J Taxes and More, located at 29217 Ford Road in Garden City. If you'd like to contact Joe, call him at 734-523-8291. And thanks to all my co-hosts, Dr. Tom Iwinski does a fantastic job as always. And shout out to Mike and his wife, Faye. Stay safe. Also, thanks to all of you for tuning in on Facebook, and also those of you that have downloaded the audio and are listening. We really appreciate your support each and every week. Be sure to view this video and past videos at your convenience, especially if you tuned in late tonight, by going to our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCChat. And we hope you'll check them out, and feel free to share with your friends. Just click on the videos tab on the left side of the page, and you'll see all our past videos as well. Please don't forget to stop by our website, gccommunitychat.com, for more information. And a reminder, you can also download the audio of tonight's show by going to iHeartRadio. Just search for GC Community Chat with Carrie Parton. And as I've always been doing when I sign off, I just want to give a huge thank you to all the healthcare workers, the nurses, the doctors, the caregivers, our first responders, police and fire, grocery workers, mail carriers, pharmacy workers, and everyone on the front lines who serve and protect us every day. We cannot thank you enough. Be safe, and we are praying for you and your families. And when you see any of these heroes, please let them know how much you appreciate them. They would really like that. Also, you be safe out there. Wash your hands, like we said, frequently. Don't touch your face. And if you are sick, please stay home and continue the physical distancing. You all know the drill by now. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly. If you are a young person, take this seriously and practice your physical distancing as well. You don't want to expose your family or your parents or your grandparents or anyone who has health issues. Just be safe. All right, remember, the success of a community depends on the community, so please support your local businesses. They need your support, like I said, now more than ever. And if you see something, say something. Look out for one another out there. For all your weather information, be sure to head on over to DrTomsWeather.com. He's got a great user-friendly website over there, and hopefully we're going to see some warmer temps on there pretty soon. We will see you back here next Thursday, April 30th, live at 8 p.m. Our guest will be Garden City Public School Superintendent Derek Fisher, and also Richard Warabelski, the owner of Chubb's Smokehouse Catering in Garden City. So until then, thanks for listening. You guys stay safe and have a great night. All right. And I'll see you next week.